Afternoon, it's a doubleheader with the Mets taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pitching for the Pirates, it's Bob Walk, 2-2 with a 2.95 ERA. He'll be opposed in the first game by the Mets left-hander Bob Ojeda, who is 7-2 with an ERA of 2.53.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm Ralph Kiner, along with Rusty Staub, also Tim McCarver and Steve Zabriskie, all set for the Mets' second doubleheader of the year. They have played one previous doubleheader. It was against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and they split the doubleheader in Pittsburgh. The Mets with a record of 41-16, their best start ever. And to put it all in perspective, back in 1962, the Mets won only 40 games all season long. So already the Mets are ahead of that record in their first year of play. And the Pittsburgh Pirates struggling right now. They have lost the first two games of this series, and they have lost 9 out of 10 to the Mets, and they have been fooling around with their lineup, Rusty.
Well, there's no doubt about that, Ralph. I think Jim Leyland has decided to try to put the best pitching matchups against the Mets today. He switched Walk from the second game to the first game, put Nipper and Kipper into the second game. I think he really has in his mind that he wants to win a game here today. The Mets have been rolling along so well. It's amazing, as we keep saying, that no matter what Davey seems to do out there, it seems to work.
Well, since you're a single fellow, I'll have to say Happy Father's Day out there to everyone in the audience. But right now, let's go down to Steve Zabriskie.
Thanks, Ralph, and happy Father's Day to you all. For those of us who have to work most Father's Day, I'd just like to personally say Happy Father's Day to my father and my grandfather, who has not been feeling too well. And before the game today, we gave some of the Mets and one of the Pirates an opportunity to send you Happy Father's Day wishes.
I'm Tim Tuffle, wishing all the fathers out there a happy Father's Day.
I'm Ed Hearn. I'd like to wish my father and coach a very happy Father's Day.
Hi, I'm Ron Darling. I want to say, Dad, I hope you're feeling better on Father's Day, and I wish I could be there with you. And to all the other fathers of the Mets, the happiest Father's Day to all of you.
Hi, I'm Wally Backman of the New York Mets, and I'd like to wish all you wonderful fathers a very happy Father's Day.
Hi, I'm Mookie Wilson. I'd like to wish all you fathers out there a happy Father's Day.
Hi, I'm Lee Mazzelli with the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'd like to wish everyone a happy Father's Day. And my pop is at the game, so happy Father's Day, Dad. Thank you.
Hi, I'm George Foster. I want to tell all the fathers of the world, when you're in a crowd, stand proud that you're a father. And I also want to wish the potential fathers or the future fathers happy Father's Day. And God bless.
Well, wherever you may be, we hope that your Father's Day is a very joyous one and you have an opportunity to spend time with your family and also spend time with us. A doubleheader coming up right here next on WOR, right after this word for Busch Beer.
First game of this doubleheader, Keith Hernandez at first base. Playing second base, Wally Backman. The shortstop, Rafael Santana. At third base, Ray Knight. In left field, Danny Heap. In center field, Len Dykstra. And in right field, Darryl Strawberry. The catcher, Gary Carter. And on the mound, Bob Ojeda. Ojeda, 28 years of age, has a record of 7-2, an earned run average of 2.53. He has walked 23, struck out 48, given up 69 hits in 78 innings of work. And lifetime, he is 2-0 against Pittsburgh.
And leading off for the Pirates, we have center fielder Barry Bonds. Hitting second at second base, Rafael Belliard. In right field, hitting third, Mike Brown. Jim Morrison at third base, hitting cleanup. Hitting fifth at first base, Mike Diaz. Catching and hitting sixth is Tony Pena. In left field, batting seventh is Bill Allman. Shortstop, Sammy Khalifa, batting eighth. And pitching and hitting ninth, Bob Walk.
So Bob Ojeda with a lifetime record of 51-41. His first year in the National League. Last year, 9-11 for the Boston Red Sox. And coming in with a fine earned run average of 2.53. The umpires for this game, Billy Williams behind home plate, Gary Darling, the umpire at first base, Joe West at second base, and Steve Ripley, the umpire at third. And the leadoff batter, Barry Bonds. Bonds hitting .288 for the year, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs.
And against the Mets, Ralph, he's had 5 hits and 22 at-bats, has hit 1 home run, and driven in 2 runs.
Fine on-base percentage of .432. He gets a lot of walks, in fact, also hit by a pitch ball in yesterday's ball game. And the 1-0 pitch, a fastball again, and foul back, 1 ball, 1 strike.
I was talking with Sid Thrift before the game, and Barry Bonds' father, Bobby Bonds, has a whole program with a sledgehammer that he goes through every day to create his hand, wrist, and arm strength to try to make him become just a better hitter and a stronger hitter and to be quick.
And the breaking ball, it's hit in the air to center field. Dykstra there. And then shading from the sun, making the play. Well, Rusty, the sun field here changes throughout the ball game, and it will with this doubleheader. It's always tough in the daytime in this park.
Yes, it is. The wind isn't gusting a tremendous amount today, which helps a little bit if it stays that way. But as the day progresses, right field, which I knew well here, gets to be one of the toughest sun fields in all of baseball. As the sun starts setting over the back of the Shea Stadium, right field becomes a real problem. But it's going to be a problem all day long for all the outfielders. They're going to have to be alert or they're going to get in trouble.
And here is Rafael Belliard hitting .241, no home runs, 12 RBIs. He takes a fastball for a strike.
And Belliard is hitting .333 against the Mets. He has 5 hits and 15 at-bats. He has not driven any runs or hit any home runs yet.
And Ojeda throws a pitch. It's bunted and bunted foul. So Belliard back to home plate. Brought a 5-game hitting streak into this game. 8 for 16, batting .500 over his last 5 games. Toughest sun field I ever played was the second game of a doubleheader in the Polo Grounds. And, of course, Yankee Stadium in left field is very tough.
Yes.
And the earned run average right here of Bob Ojeda. It is 4th in the league. Gooden leads at 2.21. Then Nepper at 2.26. Tudor at 2.51. And Bob Ojeda at 2.53. 2 strikes to count on Rafael Belliard. As we get underway here at Shea Stadium. Banner day in between games of the doubleheader. And off the hands, bloop to right, and the hitting streak goes to 6 consecutive ball games. So Belliard continues doing well against the Mets, his 4th hit and 7 at-bats. That'll bring up Mike Brown.
When you're going good, Ralph, it just seems like everything falls in, doesn't it?
He got one of those in yesterday's ball game. Little bleeder in the right center field. Brown hitting .250, 3 home runs, 23 RBIs.
And Brown has struggled against the Mets. He only has 2 hits and 17 at-bats. He has hit a home run and driven in 3 runs.
Brown with an off year this year as compared to last year. He batted .304 for the Angels and the Pirates last season. And he takes a breaking ball for ball 1. Pirates have scored only 12 runs in the first inning in their 57 games.
And Mike Brown has struggled against left-handers, Ralph. He's only hitting .217 in his appearances against left-handed pitching.
Runner at first base, 1 man out. And a fastball strike. Brown coming to the Pirates in the Candelaria trade. And he had a fine year for Pittsburgh last year. Being platooned now by Jim Leyland, the manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates, a new manager.
And I think that's hurting him, Ralph. I really do.
1-1 pitch, hit down the third, caught in the air, and it'll be a double play.
Something happened on this play.
Oh, he called a balk. A balk call against Ojeda. So the umpires have gotten into this contest in a hurry. A balk call by Joe West said he did not stop as he came to the plate. Oh, it's going to be one of those days, I guess.
Well, you know, the umpires have certain rules. I guess they get pressure put on them by certain people. That's one of the making the pitcher stop for a 1-second stop is one of the most difficult things. You can go all day long and they won't call this, and then all of a sudden they'll call it. But he definitely did not stop. There is no doubt about it.
Yeah, if they're consistent and they call it all the time, that's something else again. But when they call it one time and don't call it the next, that's something else. That's what you don't want to see. So he did not stop. It is a balk. So the Mets, instead of being out of the inning, see the Pirates with a runner in scoring position and another chance for Mike Brown. Incidentally, if Brown had a hit, a base hit or a home run or whatever in that play, they had the option of taking whatever's better for the team. That's the way the balk goes. And this pitch is a ball, and the count at 2 balls and 1 strike. Naturally, since it was a double play, they took what was better.
Well, Belliard was already on his way to second base. I don't know if he would have been caught on a double play on that ball.
And a play going to third base now as Belliard makes a bad base running mistake. Tries to get out of it and is out as he runs out of the baseline. And Belliard making a very bad base running mistake, trying to cross over, and a ball hit right at the shortstop.
And that's a second-grade, second semester play, Ralph. It's gone over thousands of times in spring trainings. Either throws a good sinker away. Mike Brown hits it on the ground. Santana has him easy. That's just not concentrating right there.
So now 2 men away. They lose the base runner in scoring position. Have one now at first base, and the batter is Jim Morrison. Morrison batting at .232 for the year, tied for the club lead in home runs with 9. He has 33 RBIs, one behind the leader, Johnny Ray.
And he has really struggled against the Mets, Ralph. He's only had 3 hits and 31 at-bats. He has hit one of his home runs against the Mets and driven in 3 runs, but he has definitely struggled against this ball club.
1 ball, no strikes, and the fastball foul off, so it's 1-1. Jim Morrison, 0 for 6 in the previous 2 games. Batting in that cleanup spot for only the 3rd time. And the 1-1 delivery hit foul back into the stands right off the end of the bat.
And as we said about Mike Brown, Jim Morrison also has struggled against left-handed pitching. He's only hitting .200 against left-handed pitching. So, you know, it's one of the things that the Pirates have struggled with all year long.
Jim Leland appears to be a two-platoon type manager. He likes to switch his batters in and out. And this ball popped up in the shallow center. Will drop, I believe, and it does. Strawberry over to get to it. It falls in. And again, you see the deep center field play by Dykstra. And now he's coming in to get some sunglasses. He must have lost that ball in the sun.
He definitely didn't get a good jump on this ball. Well, Heater actually beats Morrison on this play. He just lofts a fly ball. Lenny just did not see that ball. That's a shame. On a day like today, you just have to go out there with your glasses on. I know in every day game, he just, you know, he doesn't have them yet. I guess he doesn't feel like the sun is going to bother him.
Well, he certainly didn't get that one, and it puts runners at first and third, and with 2 men out, the batter will be Mike Diaz, hitting .229. 1 home run, a big one against the Mets.
Yes, he hit that 3-run home run off Sid Fernandez. Against the Mets, he is 2 for 7. He drove in 3 runs with that home run and has 4 RBIs in total against the Mets so far this season.
He has batted 1 time in this series, and in that 1 time he walked. So officially he is 0 for 0. 1 strike the count. Ojeda goes to the change of pace, and it's a bad swing, fooled completely, and it's strike 2. Ojeda throws what appears to look like a screwball. He says it's not a screwball, it's just a change of pace, but it
just moves like one, right?
That's right.
Now Diaz is the atypical platoon type hitter so far this year. He's had 1 hit and 11 at-bats against right-handers, and against left-handers he's hitting .292.
That one in the dirt. Good play on it by Carter.
But I would think that Bob Ojeda's style of pitching is going to be tough for this young man.
He's really a free swinger. In fact, he's a fine hitter. He's hit well in the minor leagues. The big problem is he hasn't got a position to play.
That's it. You know, they say his strongest position, he came up as a catcher in the organization. Last year he was hitting around .360 when they told him to start playing the outfield. He had a lot of trouble adjusting mentally to that. His average dropped down to about .316 as the season ended, but he was very, very strong in spring training, and that's why I made this ball club.
And again, that screwball, and that's it. So Ojeda, without the help of the umpires in this situation, picks up a scoreless inning, giving up 2 blue pits and leaving 2 in the score after 1/2 inning. Pittsburgh nothing. The Mets coming up. Now here's a word from the good old guys.
We have Len Dyser in center field, hitting second. Wally Backman at second base. Keith Hernandez hitting third at first. Darryl Strawberry in the cleanup spot in right field. Gary Carter catching and hitting fifth. Danny Heap in left field, batting sixth. Ray Knight at third, hitting seventh. Eighth at shortstop, Rafael Santana, and pitching Bob Ojeda.
Ojeda with Bob Walk, yeah. Walk with a record of 2-2, an earned run average of 2.95. 21 walks, 27 strikeouts, 30 hits in 43 innings pitched, all pitched in relief. And for the Pirates, the defense, Diaz, Belliard, Khalifa, and Morrison, first to third. Allman, Bonds, and Brown, left to right. And the catcher, Tony Pena, and Dykstra taking the first pitch. 1 strike the count. Lenny hitting .307, 1 home run, 10 runs batted in. And in his last 15 games, he is hitting .409. Dykstra 1 for 5 in this series. again, he moves into bunting position.
Ralph, against Pittsburgh this year, Lenny's had 4 hits and 15 at-bats and has driven in 1 run. But he has been a pesky little gnat in their side a lot of times this year.
And there's another base hit for Dykstra, as you saw the stat on the Mets in the first inning. So Dykstra leads off with a base hit, and he continues to impress with his bat.
Just stays with it. A sinker breaking out over the plate. That's like a clinic swing right there.
So Dykstra, a very successful base stealer. He has 15 out of 16 on first base with Wally Backman, the batter. Wally hitting .318, no home runs, 9 RBIs. Backman has a mini streak going. He's hit in his last 4 ball games, batting .333, and Dykstra draws a throw at first. Tough to steal against the Pirates. Pirate catchers have averaged throwing out attempting base stealers 46% of the time. Pena, an outstanding thrower.
One of the big reasons for Bob Walk's success, Ralph, is his delivery to the plate. You know, they do this thing, fans, where they time how quick it is for you to get the ball to the plate. Walk is one of the quickest in the big leagues. He averages between 1.21 seconds and 1.26 seconds delivering the ball to the plate. So he is one of the quickest, so it helps him a lot.
And again, he throws over to first base. Bob Walk, known as Whirlybird. A couple of times he went to the plate without a bat. One time he went to the mound without a glove.
Timmy told me one time he went to the plate with a lead bat.
And a throw to first base. Got off to a great start in the major leagues. He won his first 6 major league decisions pitching for the Philadelphia Phillies. And he pitched in the World Series in the opening game and was a winning pitcher over Kansas City 7-6. Since then, things have not gone that well. And the breaking ball in there. Throws a good curveball. 1 strike the count to Wally Backman.
Well, they're going to watch the Mets closely at first base. The Mets have stolen 19 of the last 21 attempts. And I think Davey has been about as aggressive as you can be whenever he can be.
That's without the benefit of the 2 stolen bases yesterday that weren't scored as stolen bases.
True.
And a bunt out to the mound in the air, and that'll be an easy double play unless they call a balk. In the first inning, the Pirates hit into a double play, but the umpire, Joe West, called a balk on the pitcher that didn't count.
Wally just trying to get something started here. Gets the ball up in the air. It's an easy out. Dykstra was leaning hard, has no chance there.
So 2 men away, no one on, and Keith Hernandez the batter. Keith hitting .318 with 4 home runs, 28 RBIs.
Ralph, he's had 6 hits and 29 at-bats against the Pirates this year. He has hit a home run, hit a 2-run home run the other night, and has had 8 RBIs against the Pirates so far this year.
Got all of that one, hit it over the .396 mark, and that pitch for ball 1. Keith has the second base on-base average in the National League, .411. He's been either first, second, or third all season long. The leader now is Tim Raines at .416. And the fastball, a strike call. 1 ball, 1 strike. A little disdain right there. Billy Williams, the home plate umpire.
That expression says it all, doesn't it?
It sure does. And the count now, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Bob Walk's strength is the sinker. Down and away to left-handers. Down, period, to right-handers. Mixing in the breaking balls. When he gets in trouble, he's going to go to that sinker down and away most of the time.
And there it was. 3-1 the count. Keith has 32 walks. The leader in the National League is Bob Brenly of San Francisco with 38. And ball 4. So Keith gets his 33rd walk, and the Mets again have a base runner. And the batter coming up will be Darryl Strawberry, and he has been red hot. Strawberry hitting .459 in his last 11 ball games, 17 hits. And Darryl hitting .283 now with 7 home runs and 32 RBIs. He leads the major leagues in game-winning RBIs with 9.
and has done extremely well against Pittsburgh, Ralph. He's 11 for 28 with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs.
And the first pitch, a fastball, strike one. Darrell got his first home run in the major leagues against Pittsburgh, and the pitcher was Lee Tunnell. So Darrell saw the light right away with Pittsburgh Pirates, huh?
Yes, he did.
And the off-speed pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rookie of the year. Three for 8 in this series. And another one out of the strike zone. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Walker's pitched extremely well this year. The opponents hitting against him on every club are only hitting .201, and for a guy who's come in so many games as he has so far, that's really fine pitching.
And this one drilled in the corner, might score a run. Depends how it's played. Brown there playing it off the wall, and being waved in as Hernandez. He will be out if the throw is any good, and he is out. So Bud Harrelson gambling with 2 men out, hoping to get Hernandez across, and Hernandez thrown out.
Well, Davey likes Buddy to be aggressive, and he certainly was on this play. Darrell hits an off-speed pitch as good as you can hit it down the line. The ricochet off the fence doesn't come right to him, but he does have a good arm. He makes a good throw to the cutoff man, and Rafael Belliard makes a good throw to the plate. And Keith Hernandez is out. Here's another angle of the throw coming in. And he's got the ball in plenty time.
So no runs, 2 hits, and 1 left, and the score at the end of 1. The Pirates nothing, the Mets nothing. Now here's a word from Ivory. You look at the ball game through rose-colored glasses. No score. We're in the top of the 2nd, and Bob Ojeda pitching to Tony Pena. And the first pitch, a called strike. Pena batting 6th in the batting order and hitting a .243 for the year with 3 home runs, 20 RBIs, and that one in there for called strike 2.
Tony has struggled against the Mets. He's had 6 hits and 31 at-bats with no home runs and only 3 RBIs.
Very aggressive hitter. And the curveball down on the dirt, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pena 1 for 7 in this series.
Jim Leyland and the coaching staff have been talking a lot to Tony Pena about cutting down on his swing. I don't know how successful they've been with it.
One of the things they're trying to do is get him on base. He seldom walks, although this year he has walked more than he ever has. And this ball rounded to Ray Knight to throw to first base for the out. Pena has had 23 walks this year, which is very high for him. So on a hot sunny day, anything will do for a parasol.
You think he took the hot dogs out?
I hope so. Maybe the mustard's still in there. That brings up Bill Allman. Allman has yet to have a hit against the Mets.
0 for 14, Ralph.
Overall, he's hitting .250 for the year, 6 home runs, 19 RBIs, and the big breaking ball. 1 strike to count to a man who has played almost every position.
He started 12 games this year in left field. This will be his 13th start out there. He's had 8 games he started at third base. And when I knew him, he was a shortstop.
Signed out of Brown University as the #1 draft choice to the San Diego Padres. Played briefly for the Mets, then moved on to the White Sox. And the count 1-2.
He struggled early in his career trying to get into the National League. When he went to the American League, it gave him new life. He had a very fine year in his first season.
Blossomed out with the White Sox. 1981, he hit .301. Played in 103 games, his best year. And that makes it 2 balls and 2 strikes. Last year he hit .270 for Pittsburgh in 86 games, had 6 home runs. He's already had 6 home runs this year. And he goes after the fastball, fouls it off. Allman has played for the Padres, the Montreal Expos, the New York Mets, the White Sox, Oakland, and now Pittsburgh.
And he's another guy in our lineup, Ralph, who has struggled against left-handed pitching. He's only hitting .204 against left-handers.
Pirates have not done well against left-hand pitching.
Not at all. They are 5-13 going into this game against left-handed pitching. Ray Knight makes a nice play to first.
So 2 out on 2 assists by Ray Knight at third. Ray has made only 2 errors at third. They have been in the last few games. And the batter now will be Sam Khalifa. Khalifa hitting .189 for the year, no home runs, 4 RBIs, and he's not hitting well against the Mets either.
He's only had 3 hits, Ralph, and 19 at-bats. He's had no RBIs, no home runs.
Pirates have not done well against the Mets. They've won only 1 out of 10. But then again, nobody else has done well against the Mets.
Yes, last year the Pirates were the thorn in the Mets' side. Mets only won 10-8 against the Pirates last year, if I'm not mistaken.
10-8, and they won a couple of real big games the last week of the season against the Mets.
Hurt the Mets a lot.
1-1 the count. And right back through the wickets, as they say, through the originator, and a base hit.
Doubleheader, who does end up in good fielding position in most circumstances. That ball just went right between his legs. And on Father's Day.
You get a smile out of Ojeda there. Speaking of Father's Day, a memorial event took place on Father's Day in this stadium in 1964. The only perfect game ever pitched at Shea Stadium. Jim Bunning. Perfect game against the Mets in 1964 on Father's Day. Great story about that. I was interviewing Bunning on the field, and a beautiful lady came out of the stands, threw her arm around Bunning, kissed him. Bob Murphy and Lindsey Nelson were upstairs. There's a foul ball. And Bob said to Lindsey, "Is that his wife?" Lindsey says, "I certainly hope so." And it was.
Well, Bob Walk is actually a pretty good hitter. Not that he's a great hitter, but this year he's had 3 hits and 8 at-bats. Had a couple of doubles and a couple of RBIs.
And that one is beautifully broken into the strike zone. Bunning, the perfect man for Father's Day. I think he had 8 children, didn't he?
He had a bundle. One hand was not enough to count them.
That's right. Did he swing? And yes, he did, as Gary Darling said he won a round, and that'll do it. 1 hit, 1 left, and the score at the end of 1.5. It's the Pirates nothing, the Mets nothing. Now here's a word from Busch Beer.
Movie. Peter O'Toole and Omar Sharif star in a compelling World War II drama about Nazi occupation. Night of the Generals, Monday night at 9 o'clock.
And right here in the daytime, we go to the bottom of the second, a scoreless ball game, and Gary Carter, the lead off. Carter hitting .243, 10 home runs, 40 RBIs, and he takes a fastball. You know, talking about Jim Bunning pitching that no-hitter on Father's Day, we had a tough time to get him to go on TV. He wanted to get paid. And when I explained that the interview was also going to Philadelphia, he did go on. And we got the interview. And that night, it was a Sunday, of course, on Father's Day, he went on the Ed Sullivan Show and received the great sum of $1,000.
That was big money in that time, though, Ralph.
1964. We learned from, I guess Tim McCarver told me this, that Steve Carlton turned down $25,000 to do an interview with Barbara Walters. He wanted to keep his silence. So
he's been true to that for a long time.
Things have changed. He certainly didn't change his character even for $25,000. I wonder if he'd do it for 50.
I don't think you're going to get him to do it, period.
1-2, and Carter pops it up in foul territory. Mike Diaz over there to give it a look, and that's it.
Gary's had 6 hits and 25 at-bats against the Pirates. Has a home run, driven in 7 runs.
Carter in this series 1 for 3. And yes, it is a warm afternoon out here. The weatherman lied to us. He said there was going to be no humidity. Where's Charlie Finley in the ballpark?
This guy took the hard route in.
That's our new transportation. 1-2.
Arthur Richmond stays home a few days and we get in real trouble, right?
Boy, I'll say. Mules for all of us. 2-2. And now the count 3-2. So Carter leading off in the second with a full count as Bob Walk works his second inning. The on-deck batter, Danny Heap. Went after a bad pitch, but did foul it, so he'll get another chance.
Gary's been more and more patient lately. That's why he has been swinging the bat better. I think he's had a couple of good pitches to hit, but he has stayed back better. That time he went out, really moved out of his slot, as they call it. Reach for the ball. The only way you could have hit that ball really well is to go to right field, and he was trying to pull that pitch, is what I'm getting at.
Right. And that one ripped right into the glove of Jim Morrison. Extremely well hit, but you can't guide him.
You see his weight is back. He just gets everything into that.
That's one of the paradoxes of hitting.
Yes.
They say get out in front, but you got to keep your weight back.
And he certainly did there. Morrison saying to himself right now, I'm glad that ball wasn't hit directly at me.
On Father's Day, too. Now the batter is Danny Heap, and it is ball one. Danny hitting .295, 3 home runs, 17 runs batted in.
Danny against the Pirates has 3 hits and 8 at-bats, driven in a couple of runs. And he's made 19 starts this year, Ralph. He's hit safely in 14 of them with a .318 average. He's hit 3 home runs and 15 RBIs in his starts.
And this time Khalifa throws him out, so 2 men away. He's done a good job as a replacement for George Foster, and also pinch hitting. Fine job this year.
Darryl Strawberry's had some woes this year. He's filled inadequately at right also. People like Danny are a great plus to a ball club.
And here's a man who's been a plus to this ball club this year, hitting .333. That's 3rd in the National League. Was leading the league in hitting yesterday, but he was hitless in the game yesterday to stop 11-game hitting streak. So Ray Knight will have to start another one. He's had 2 11-game hitting streaks, and Keith Hernandez has had 2 11-game hitting streaks, the longest on the club this year. Good curveball. Leads the National League.
That's the Mets.
367 team average. Giants second at 257. And the Cardinals are last at 226. They led the National League in hitting last year and in runs scored. The Mets also lead in runs scored. They have scored 285 runs.
Ray Knight has done extremely well against the Pirates. He's had 11 hits and 31 at-bats. Hit 2 home runs against the Pirates and driven in 5 runs.
Ray 3rd in the National League batting race. Ahead of him, Tony Gwynn at 339 and Hubie Brooks at 339.
Ray's also 3rd in the league in slugging percentage.
526.
And has hit safely in 34 out of the last 39 games he's played in.
And they go to the breaking ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hubie Brooks, the slugging percentage leader at 640. Then Andre Dawson at 585. And then Ray Knight at 526. They got so many stats now, you have to have a computer to keep up with them. And that's exactly why they got so many stats. They got computers.
That's it. But we try to keep you fans informed as best we can on all the statistics we can come up for you.
I remember when they first started to put batting averages on the scoreboard, and the players hated that. You were playing then, weren't you?
Well, you didn't hate it if you were hitting 3 plus. If you were down in the 200s, you didn't like it at all.
Now there was a revolt.
I understand the Cardinals have stopped putting their batting averages up on their scoreboard because their team has done so poorly this year.
And there's strike 3. So Walk gets his first strikeout as he sneaks a fastball by Ray Knight, who didn't like the call by Billy Williams. So a 1-2-3 inning for Bob Walk, and the score at the end of 2. The Pirates nothing, the Mets nothing. Now here's a word from Purolator Courier. Score in the ball game, a big crowd here on Hand at Shea Stadium, and for the Pittsburgh Pirates will be the top of the batting order. Barry Bonds the lead off. Barry flied out to center field his first time up. And the breaking ball for ball 1. Bob Ojeda working to Barry Bonds, followed by Rafael Belliard. Barry, the son of Bobby Bonds, and an outstanding prospect. It's a good curveball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And Ralph, Bo Jackson got an offer from Kansas City, trying to make a decision on whether he's going to play baseball or football. Said the Kansas City offer was unique.
That's because he's an amateur athlete. Not used to all that money being offered, huh?
Well, I'm sure they have to do something to try to talk him out of playing football. Says he's going to wait for Tampa Bay to make their offer before he makes his decision.
This ball topped out to the first base side. Hernandez with a tough play, and he throws it perfectly, but Ojeda falls down. Now Bonds makes a turn toward second, so he's in play, but he gets back to the bag.
Well, I think they're going to call it a base hit, but that was a really excellent try by Keith Hernandez. If Bob Ojeda doesn't fall down, I think they may get him. Hernandez coming in. Very, very tough play for the first baseman, but flips it back. I don't know exactly what happened. We didn't see at the bag here. We may catch it here. Oh, he just slipped coming, trying to stop. He didn't hit the bag. He just slipped down on the mud part of the infield.
So that will be scored as a base hit. Hit number 4 off Ojeda, and now a very fast man on at first base with Rafael Belliard coming up. Belliard extending his hitting streak to 6 consecutive ball games with a base hit his first time up.
Bonds so far has attempted 7 steals, been thrown out 3 times, has stolen 4 bases.
Has a pretty good sized lead, and he draws a throw. Pirates have been successful in their stolen base attempts only 55% of the time, but they have tried 81. Again, a throw over there. And the Mets have done very poorly against the runners. They have thrown out only 17% of the runners attempting the steal. And the strike call.
It's one of the few areas the Mets have not excelled in this year.
They've thrown out only 13 of 75 attempts. Swing and throw to first base, and Bonds is back. Bobby Bonds, his father, came the closest to being a 40-40 man.
It's just a high fastball. Could not check his swing. Bonds not really too far out.
And you ask, what is a 40-40 man? That's a man who hits 40 home runs and has 40 stolen bases. No one has ever done that, but Bobby Bonds missed on the home run side. He had over 40 stolen bases and 39 home runs. I would think, Rusty, the closest to that right now might be Darryl Strawberry.
I was just thinking the exact same thing, Ralph. I really think that Darryl is probably the one guy in baseball right now that might be able to accomplish that feat.
There have been a lot of 30-30s, but no 40-40 men. 40 stolen bases or more, 40 home runs or more.
There's a banner. Today being banner day between first and second games of this doubleheader for about an hour, hour and a half, however long it takes.
2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours.
We should make them sprint through, right?
It all started back in 1963 at the Polo Grounds, the first banner day ever held in Major League Baseball in a Major League Baseball stadium.
It's a big day for Met fans. They've come out here in droves today. It's like almost a full house again.
2 strikes to count on Belliard. No one out. Top of the third, and another ground ball hit down the night. A great diving stop. Can he get his man at second? He does. Ray Knight throwing from the ground on his knees makes the play.
Well, he's been doing an outstanding job all year long. He just dives, catches his ball, makes a nice quick release, and gets a fast runner going to second base. That's not a time play. That's just a full extension almost.
So they pick up the force play on the lead runner. That leaves Belliard at first base and brings up Mike Brown. Mike Brown hit into a fielder's choice his first time up, and this one popped in a shallow right, going back his back, but he can't get it. Strawberry dives for it, doesn't get it, and it goes for a base hit. So that's 3 of those little bloop hits into the outfield in this game already.
Straw was not real aggressive on this ball. I think there was a tentativeness whether he felt Wally Backman was going to come out and catch this ball, and now you see him stop all of a sudden. we've had some collisions out there, and I think the outfield is getting very tentative. There's no doubt that he picked up Wally Backman right there, and it caused him to slow down. I think if he would have kept coming all the way, he would have had a chance to catch that ball.
So Strawberry gets it on the short hop, and runners at first and second with one out, and that brings up Jim Morrison, who got a bloop base hit his first time up out in shallow left center field. Morrison with only 3 hits against the Mets this year and 32 at bats. One of them, though, a home run. And the first pitch, a called strike.
Things like that, as far as running into other outfielders and infielders and outfielders colliding, seem to come in rashes, Ralph. I don't know why.
Glenn Dykstra has run into just about everybody but the catcher on this ball club. And the runner's going with a pitch. It's popped up out into shallow right field. Hernandez back, and he makes the catch, and they could have all they want, but they get the double play, and that ends the inning.
Keith Hernandez, his gold gloves are well earned. This is another reason showing it. Catches that ball. He's got all day to throw now, because Rafael Belliard was almost at home plate by the time Keith Hernandez turned around.
So a double play, no runs on 2 hits and 1 left in the score at the end of 2.5 innings. The Pirates nothing, the Mets nothing. Now here's a word from Exxon Gas. Sunday afternoon, June 22nd, as they take on Ryan Sandberg and the Chicago Cubs. All kids 14 and under will receive a Mets replica jersey courtesy of Conn's Meats. Due to the heavy demand of Sunday, June 22nd's game, Conn's Meats Kids Jersey Day tickets are still available, but only at Shea Stadium's advanced ticket window. For all other home games, tickets can be purchased at all Ticketon outlets at Shea Stadium's advanced ticket window, or call 718-507-TIXX for information. So come on out and see the Mets take on the Chicago Cubs. And remember, all kids 14 and under will receive a Mets jersey courtesy of Conn's Meats, absolutely free. Now we're going to the bottom of the third. And for the Mets, it'll be Rafael Santana. Tim McCarver, have a nice day. Karen and Cindy. Just what he wants to hear. Have a nice eternity that lasts forever. And Rafael Santana hitting 160 with no home runs, 7 RBIs. Takes the first pitch. And now the sinking fastball.
Ralphie has struggled desperately almost against the Pittsburgh Pirates, Ralph. He's had 4 hits and 33 times at bat. He has driven in 3 runs against the Pirates, though.
And that one right on the corner, right on the black. 2 balls, 1 strike. Rafael 0 for 6 in this series against Pittsburgh. Mets have had 2 hits. Pirates have had 5. And now 3 and 1. Walk has not walked the batter since the first inning. There's one of those great stats.
Yes.
And it's hit in the air to center field. Bobby Bonds back. Puts the shades on it and the glove on it. So 1 away, and that'll bring up Bob Ojeda.
Here's Bobby Bonds going after the ball. Almost slips down. Makes a nice recovery. Barry Bonds fan, sorry. Played too many years around his father, I think.
Father, an outstanding player and a really nice guy. Bob Ojeda, the batter. Bob has had 3 hits and 28 at bats, and he gets a curveball. Bob did not bat for 8 years due to the fact he played in the minor leagues and also in the American League. And when he started taking batting practice, he said it already started to foul up his golf swing. 1-1 the count. And again, the breaking ball, foul tip. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Played some first base in college. So he hit 8 years ago. Got a piece of it to stay alive.
He definitely has a tentative front foot there, Ralph. That front foot just wants to step out of that batter's box.
The heart is willing, but the body is weak. And that's against the right-hand pitcher.
Yes.
Struck him out with a curveball. Second strikeout for walk. 2 men away here in the third, and it brings up Len Dykstra. Dykstra singled his first time up.
Walk showing good control today. He's walked 21 people in the 42 and 2/3 innings he pitched in prior to this game. He's not an easy pitcher for a catcher to catch.
That sinker ball. This is his first start of the season. And he gets Dykstra with a breaking ball. Coming into this ball game, Dykstra hitting .409 over his last 15 ball games. Got a big base hit in yesterday's 5-run inning. Mets winning yesterday 5-1. Won the first game 6-5, and they won that in the 9th inning. Large crowd. First doubleheader at Shea Stadium this year. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I think the Mets had 31 doubleheaders.
That's the sledgehammer right there, I believe, that we were talking about with Barry Bonds. That's Bill Verdon, the outfield coach.
And that's a strikeout. So that ends the inning. A 1-2-3 inning with 2 strikeouts. And the score at the end of 3, Pittsburgh nothing, the New York Mets nothing. Now here's a word from Nissan. Action this Tuesday night at 7:30 when the boys from Shea battle the Montreal Expos. Live from Olympic Stadium, only here on Channel 9. And coming in here live from Shea Stadium, only on Channel 9, Steve Zabriskie.
Thank you, Ralph. Semi-live, at least.
All right, you got to feel good in a day like this.
Even though the weatherman lied to us?
He lied to us.
Mike Diaz to lead it off for the Pirates in a scoreless ball game after 3. Inside from Bob Ojeda for ball 1. Diaz struck out swinging to end the first inning.
Diaz saw 2 of those change of paces that act like a screwball his first time up.
There it is. He denies, Bob Ojeda that is, denies that he turns that ball over, but I don't know how else you'd get it to move away from a right-handed hitter like that.
He lied to us again.
He and the weatherman are in cahoots. Ojeda's been touched for 5 base hits, none of which have been smoked. And a breaking ball down the line. Another good play by Ray Knight and a 1-hop throw to first to get Diaz. Man, is Ray Knight sparkling at third base.
Well, he turns a base hit into an out here with a fine play, and I believe he throws the ball on the first hop on purpose. A trick that Concepcion came up with on the artificial turf, but this is the first time you might have seen it on grass. In the foul territory, that long throw and a perfect hop to Keith Hernandez. So Ray Knight playing sparkling bright daylight baseball.
On a sparkling day. Huh? Now that's a good play because from that far away, if you try to get the ball all the way there, Hernandez would probably have to dig it out of the dirt. This way it's an easy play for the first baseman. Here's Tony Pena, who grounded tonight his first time up. And he hits it up the middle for a base hit into center field. The 6th Pirate hit.
Left fielder, Bill. Well, the Pirates got 2 hits in the first, 1 hit in the second, 2 more in the third, now have 1 here in the fourth.
Utility man extraordinaire Bill Ullman will be the batter. He too grounded to Ray Knight at third base back in the 2nd inning. Allman has played 5 different positions and may play 7 before the season is over. That's low and away for ball 1. 1 out. Pena the runner at first. And a strike on the outside corner. 1-1. Bob Ojeda, the kind of pitcher who rarely throws the ball over the fat part of the plate. He knows exactly what he wants to do and really what he has to do to succeed, because he does not have overpowering stuff. And he nibbles. And a shot to Backman. It could be 2 to Santana, and it is. The Mets turn their second double play of the ball game to end the 4th inning. 1 hit, but no one left, and we're still scoreless after 3 1/2. And we're back at Shea after this for Manufacturers Hanover.
It's all sports like nobody else, with double coverage from Steve and Al Albert on Channel 9, primetime, tomorrow night at 8. Steve and Al, catch them here on Channel 9.
Wally Backman to lead it off for the Mets in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Walter 0 for 1, tried to bunt in the 1st inning and popped it back to pitcher Bob Walk, who turned it into a double play. Wally's hitting 4 straight, hitting .333. Entered the game with a .318 average, but significantly better than that from the left side. He takes ball 1.
You know, we were talking, Steve, about the perfect game Jim Bunning pitched on June 21st, which was Father's Day in 1964. Ed Sudol was a home plate umpire.
1-1.
And after the game, I told Sudol, that was after I interviewed Jim Bunning, that it was a perfect game. And he says, "You mean I umpired a perfect game?" And I said, "No, Ed, you didn't." But it was a perfect game.
Pitched, not umpired. Into the hole, and a base hit into right field. Backman is aboard to lead off the 4th inning for New York. Only the 3rd hit for the Mets.
And for the 2nd time, the Mets get their leadoff batter on as the second baseman. Balliard couldn't make the play, and it brings up Keith Hernandez. Keith walked his first time up.
And that walk meant that Keith has been on base in 51 of 56 games this year by either a hit or a walk. He is 2nd in the league in on-base percentage to Tim Raines of Montreal. Bunning, a good one to pitch on Father's Day, huh? He had half a dozen kids.
I think he had 8 kids.
8?
Yeah.
Only appropriate.
Some of the names of the players in that ball game: Jim Hickman, Ron Hunt, Ed Krahenpool, Joe Christopher, Jesse Gonder, Bill Taylor, Charlie Smith, Juan Samuel, George Altman. Tracy Stollard was the losing pitcher.
There's a blast from the past. Well, Walk asked for time, and then Backman asked for time, so now we're ready to go again. Base hit, and it could be extra bases down the right field line. Backman heading for 3rd as Brown comes up with the ball. Here comes the relay. Safe. Hernandez doubles in the 1st run of the game, and New York leads 1-0.
Well, this time Bud Harrelson gets his base runner home. The ball hit down that right field line. Mike Brown making the move over there to cut it off before it reaches the wall. Backman being waved in. The throw by the relay man, Khalifa, I should say by Balliard, is not in time, and the Mets score and lead 1-0. Perfect throw by Balliard, but just late. And trailing the play as the play came home, Keith Hernandez going to third. So the Mets have a run in, a runner at third with no one out.
And Darryl Strawberry, the batter. Inside, ball one. Strawberry doubled his first time up down the right field line, but Hernandez was thrown out at the plate trying to score on that base hit. Good base running by Keith Hernandez to go to third. Did Darryl hold up? No, says third base umpire Steve Ripley. And the count is now 1-1.
Right here, Darryl tries to hold up and does on the ball in the dirt.
But Ripley said no. And now it's 2 balls, 1 strike.
Pirates playing the infield in for a play at the plate this early in the ball game. Kind of unusual, especially with a power hitter up.
Darryl fouls it off his foot, and the count now 2-2. Belliard at second is only in about halfway, and that, of course, Darryl's pull side.
He must be a father.
He must be intelligent.
Playing a Father's Day second base here. He didn't want to get in too close. Might get killed. Strawberry fouling that ball down. Good swing. Just on top of the ball, and he fouls it off his foot.
Strawberry leading the major leagues with 9 game-winning RBIs. And he has been red hot of late, and he's going to take a little extra time here to try to shake the pain out of that foot. There you see the infield positioning. About halfway in, all the way around. And it's caught by the first baseman, Mike Diaz. Hernandez obviously has no chance to advance. So 1 away with Keith still at third. And the batter will be Gary Carter. Carter lined out to third baseman Jim Morrison to open the second inning.
Carter leads the club and runs batted in with 40. League leader in RBIs, Chili Davis with 44.
Ball one. Gary also tied for the club lead with Darryl Strawberry with George Foster, I should say, with 10 home runs apiece.
Marshall, the home run leader, with 15. Mike Marshall of the Dodgers.
A bouncer up the middle. Khalifa now has got Hernandez hung up between third and home. And he's tagged out, and on the play, Carter goes down to second base.
Not that bad a play. Keith trying to sneak in, hoping that Khalifa would throw to first. But Khalifa caught him out of the corner of his eye and held on to the ball. But Hernandez stays in. There you see him catching Hernandez. And he stays in that rundown long enough to allow Carter to go to second, so they still have a runner in scoring position with 2 men out. Right here you see Keith just trying to wait. And if the throw goes to first, he's going to break home. But Khalifa picked him up.
That was a good play. He was trying to cheat enough to have a chance to come home on the throw to first. But Carter at second with 2 out for Danny Heap, who takes the ball. Heap grounded to short in the second inning. Gary reaching on a fielder's choice at second base. Fly ball to right field. Mike Brown doesn't have to move very far, and the inning is over. But the Mets pick up 1 run on 2 hits. They leave a runner. And at the end of 4, they lead the Pirates 1-0 here at Shea in the first of a doubleheader. Now here's a word from Busch Beer.
That this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Mets and WOR-TV, and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets and WOR-TV is prohibited.
Top of the 5th inning here at Shea, 1-0, New York leading. Earl Morrill from WOR in the WOR Diamond View Suite here at Shea. where the folks from WOR entertain clients and members of the staff. Sam Khalifa leads it off in the 5th inning for Pittsburgh. He singled to center his first time up, and he looks at strike 1 from Bob Ojeda. And a fly ball to right. Easy play for Strawberry. And 1 out.
In the National League, Cardinals just getting underway against the Cubs. Expos no score against the Phillies. Top of the 3rd inning. The Expos now 10 games back. Reds and Braves getting underway. Giants and Astros later, and the Dodgers and Padres later. Mets have a 10-game lead, the biggest lead they've ever had in their 25-year history.
Bob walked the batter, and the Pirate pitcher takes inside for ball 1. He struck out to end the 2nd inning. Ball 2. Walks hitting .333, 3 for 9. This is his first start, so he hasn't had a lot of at-bats this year as a relief pitcher. 2 balls, 1 strike.
You know, with the Mets having a record of 41-16, to put that in perspective, here it is June 15th. In 1962, they won only 40 games all season. So the Mets have won 1 more game already this year than they won all season long in 1962.
And people have been writing and talking about the fact, I've heard it mentioned in 2 different areas, Ralph. I know it's far beyond the realm of possibility, but people talked about the fact that maybe this year's team would lose fewer games than that year's team won. That would be awesome, though, to win 120 games.
And today in baseball, Wade Boggs leading the major leagues at .379. That's, of course, the Boston Red Sox Wade Boggs. Bruised ribs.
Bob walks. And it's the first one issued by Bob Ojeda.
Walks.
What else would he do? He's at first with 1 out for Barry Bonds, who is 1 for 2. Got an infield base hit in the 3rd after flying to center field in the 1st inning. And Barry has now been on base in 16 of his 17 games. Nice headgear. This one will stay in play. Ray Knight in foul territory. 2 away. I wonder if he gets Channel 9 on that. He's adjusting his antenna. That's his de-scrambler there on top, the cup. I guess they forgot their hats, huh? Rafael Belliard, 1 for 2.
A few other things.
Swing and a miss at 1 out of the strike zone. 0-1. Were they your passes or Tim's?
I think they're Tim's. Said a couple of his roommates were coming out.
And he's not here to defend himself. He'll be here in a couple innings, and we'll hear about it. Belliard going up the bat handle, looking as if he might be bunting. But it's a ball, 1-1. Bob walked the runner at first, 2 out, and a 1-0 New York lead in the top of the 5th inning. Belliard now has hit in 6 straight games. Beautiful breaking ball, and it's 1-2.
You know how ball players mainly from Texas wear cowboy boots?
Yes.
Well, that's how Wade Boggs hurt himself, trying to take off his cowboy boots.
Before the game even began.
Yeah, actually it happened in Wednesday in his hotel room trying to get his cowboy boots off. He slipped and hit his ribs against the side of the bed.
That's going to be out of play, and the count's still 1-2. You know, it's amazing when you think back about key players for teams being injured during the season. A lot of guys have been injured off the field. You know, household accidents, cut their hands. Think about Jim Lonborg's skiing accident. And who was it for Philadelphia that had the bike accident? Riding a bike?
Christensen, wasn't it?
Santana with a good play to end the inning here in the 5th. A walk and one left for the Pirates against Bob Ojeda, but Bob throwing goose eggs so far. It's 1-0 New York after 4 1/2. And now here's a word from the good old guys.
We're going down to the bottom of the 5th in the American League. The Yankees nothing. Orioles batting in the bottom of the 1st. Tigers 3, Blue Jays nothing. Bottom of the 3rd. 2-2 Brewers and Red Sox bottom of the 4th. Indians leading the Twins 1-0 top of the 3rd. Royals and Angels later. Rangers and A's later. And the White Sox and Mariners later.
And right here, Ray Knight will lead it off. Bottom of the order in the bottom of the 5th against Bob Walk. Knight to be followed by Rafael Santana and Bob Ojeda as New York leads it 1-0. Ray was called out on strikes to end the 2nd inning, a call with which he disagreed. And he takes ball 1.
Talking about players getting hurt, the classic case was Kurt Simmons, the great left-hander for the Phillies at the time, who cut a toe off mowing the lawn at home.
Man. Sometimes it's safer to be here at the park and in the lineup. And a breaking ball in there, and it's 1-1.
Christensen fell off that bike for the Phillies, and that was in a charity raising event sponsored by Tug McGraw, riding a bicycle so many miles, and that was in California. Been a lot of players hurt playing basketball. Mike Vail of the Mets injured himself one time playing basketball.
And Tim McCarver points out Bobby Tolan's Achilles heel injury, which was playing basketball and ended his career.
Boy, he could run.
Couldn't he, though? Knight hits it a ton to center field. Will it stay in the park? Yes, it will. Bonds just short of the warning track and one away.
Wonder how long Walk can pitch in this ball game. This is his first start of the year, and he's now working his 5th inning, the longest he has worked this year.
And he'll be facing Rafael Santana with 1 out and nobody on. Santana also flied to center, his first time up. And he looks at a breaking ball for strike 1. Santana took a lot of extra batting practice with hitting instructor Bill Robinson inside in the batting cage under the stands before the game today. And he did hit that ball very well his first time up.
Yeah, but that Iron Mike doesn't throw curveballs.
Well, I think it was Bill Robinson who was throwing. Swing and a miss. Foul tip, and it's 1-2.
Rafael seems to be weak. I mean, physically weak. He hasn't been able to get the bat around. He isn't a strong person to start with, and most of his hits have been sliding off to the right side. He's been behind everything.
You know, when he first was acquired a few years ago, Ralph, from St. Louis, he hit a lot more line drives than he does now, and I thought he was going to be a pretty good hitter and could hit in the high 200s. But in the last couple of years, you're right, he has been hitting everything the other way, and often meekly. He hit a line drive that time, but it takes a couple of hops, and Khalifa throws him out. So 2 out with nobody on.
Hit that slider on the end of the bat, so it took some of the speed out of it.
Bob Ojeda. And here's Bob Ojeda. Bob struck out back in the 3rd. For strike 1. Ojeda 3 for 29 as a hitter this year. And it's 0-2. The Mets got a run in the 4th inning, and that has been the only scoring in the game. 6 hits for the Pirates, 4 hits for New York. And a breaking ball fouled off. Still 0-2.
In games when the Mets have had the first run of the ball game, they have won 29 and lost 8.
Oh, bullpen conversation. Greg Pavlik on the right side of your screen, one of the Mets bullpen coaches. And Ojeda fouls another one off. 0-2. A good try. Boy, another great crowd here. And that just missed. 1-2. Mets had about 47,000 paid for the doubleheader yesterday. Or single game yesterday.
Just seemed like a doubleheader.
Doubleheaders today, isn't it? That's right. Ojeda strikes out for the second time. 4th strikeout for walk. And after 5, the score remains.